Hey, what's up? So you ever want to like draw or paint lips that are cool and different expressions, like maybe the Elvis lip lift or biting your lower lip and make it look cool and sexy? Well, I'm going to show you in this live tutorial. Let's get started. This is Neil from masterpaintingalg.com. Much more tutorials and courses in the description below. So first thing is, let's go ahead and just fix your face up because AI often does things wrong. So I'm going to give it a little bit of shadow more right there like that. Or we'll get into the lips in just a second. Just kind of I do this kind of thing where the girls they paint their whole nose right here kind of darker, and then they add highlight makeup right here. Something like that. Maybe see how it would be if I just kind of do some highlights. That's good enough for now. If you use something like Pony, which has one of the best art styles you can get, some of the best styles, you can get this great stuff. It often messes up the eyeballs, so you can use the hard pen there and then just use the blur tool. I'm using the wet blender here and just kind of blend that together a little bit. Sometimes I like to do is just take this whole eye and just recenter, add a little more shadow going all the way across right here. That's too much. Right there, a little bit right there. I kind of like the purple, it's kind of cool. But bigger pupils, by the way, associated with sexiness, and just for some reason, men are typically attracted to larger pupils. We'll add the other stuff in a second. And then we'll get to the lips. Don't worry, the lips are coming. Just want to fix this face up first. And we might add some piercings. Maybe I'll show you how to add some piercings. Okay, that's not what I was trying to do. Oftentimes, you just use this blender, water blender, just kind of blend stuff like that out. Sometimes it's too much. Earrings would need to be fixed. Sometimes you can just take your airbrush tool here, do a spray, grab a color like that, go to normal. We're going to go to, let's say, either color dodge, glow dodge, or add glow. As you can see, that adds a kind of cool texture that we can build on. Cool. Now, I might actually just go with this kind of pink highlight first, like that. And then you can take the airbrush again, regular soft. You can kind of push that, gives you a nice, cool, glossy look there. And then let's go ahead and just cut that a little bit. Now I'm going to take the purple and just add a little bit inside like that, so they're not totally black, so that they're reflecting their surroundings. Let's go ahead and make the brush big here, kind of swoop this color here. So I actually have the Alt on my brush, so it's right on my brush. I just click up with my thumb. It just makes it really easy to easily switch colors, but you can always, do it another way, like on your keyboard. What this line right here is, this is a cool, interesting line. So when the shadow, right at that edge of the shadow, where the shadow is turning over to the other color, there's often this really saturated line that happens there at the like this is like a cast shadow, right, being cast down, and often at those kinds of shadows, it's kind of like harder shadows on the and also form shadows. But right where that line is, there's a really just take the skin color and saturate it and make it a little bit darker, and just bam. So you just take like the shadow color and just really saturate it like that. In fact, I might even do more like this. Yeah, see that? And that's just a really nice color that happens. And if you look carefully at photos and stuff, you can actually see that. You might have to zoom in on the shadow, but it's pretty cool. Something to pay attention to. All right, now let's get started with the lips. So the first thing I like to do is maybe this lip lift, right? Where you kind of have this Elvis lip lift. It's kind of a hard thing to do. Not everyone can do it, so there's not a whole lot of reference photos for it. Matter of fact, you might find a hard time finding a reference photo for this. The first thing I want to do is make a new layer. I'm going to just take our teeth here, and let's go ahead and just paint where I think the teeth are going to be. Like this. Because I want her to like lift her lip up enough to where you can see the teeth. And then I'm going to have her lift her left lip up maybe. Let's go ahead and just kind of, that's what Elvis did, I think. So it's his left lip. Just kind of painting all that where the lip's going to be lifted. And then maybe add just a little more gray and a little bit more white to the teeth. Something like that. I don't want the whole, all the, kind of faded out to the edges. Like that. That's pretty cool. And then let's go ahead, and this is why I'm going to do this on its own layer, teeth. That way we can paint lips over the teeth. So if we want to do different kind of expressions, the kind of teeth are there just in case we need them. So what I like to do is just right away, just drop right into where you're going to have that center line with the teeth right about there. And let's go ahead and add, I'll use this darker color. It has a kind of, slope like that, right? And then right here at that lip line, that would be where your teeth are, right about there. So you have that line, it kind of curves up like this. Okay, boom, like that. And the bottom teeth are usually going to be a little bit smaller, like that. You might even have a little bit of overlap from the top teeth. They might come down and overlap the tooth a little bit, like that. And then you're going to have this kind of other tooth that kind of comes like this. Right, kind of fits in like that. Okay. I'm almost wondering maybe I should drop that line down a little bit farther. I'm thinking that might not be big enough. Let's drop this line a little bit farther, like right about to here. Yeah, I'm thinking like that. We're not going to show all the teeth. And we need that gum line as well. So that's going to be where the gum line is, like that. Okay, looking cooler. Now I'm thinking these teeth are like right about here, like this. Maybe even a little bit thicker than that. Maybe right about there, there. There we go, perfecto. Then she'll have these kind of teeth that come out here, sizers, whatever they are. Not that I don't know the first ones. Then you have the second ones. They're sharper usually. Cool, looking good. And then I think these teeth usually kind of come down like this. So kind of tooth right there, and then down. Trying to go more towards gray now. Start adding in some of this detail here. So I'm thinking a lot of this we're probably not gonna, a lot of this probably won't even show it anyway. Just starting to kind of get, there we go, cool, cool. All right, then on a separate layer, we'll like paint on top of that. So that way we can have our teeth there and then paint on top of our teeth. I'm debating whether I want to give her the snaggletooth. I love snaggletooth rather. But I don't know, some people might not like it. It's kind of like the Japanese have it. But maybe. I think it's cute. Right. Now we got to think about how the lips are going to be shaped. So the bottom lip is going to be shaped pretty much the same, but because it's kind of being pulled down like this a little bit, we're going to take it and pull this bottom lip down just a little bit more here. And just use a solid color for now. We'll get the forms right first, and then we'll worry about... Sometimes I like to paint this first, and then paint the lip right over. It just makes it easier. Like that. Maybe come straight across here like that. Something like that. And I'd paint that right on top of the teeth. I should have done that. Should have made another layer. That way we can erase if we need to. So this lip is going to be lipped up a little bit, right? So on this lip, when we do that, what happens is we have a change in lip. And so I'm going to just use the ink brush, actually. This kind of gets lowered down a little bit, like this. And then this one's going to be lifted up. The whole thing has this kind of angle like this. And so we're going to lift this up like this, and it kind of looks to come more rounded like that. That's kind of the overall shape. Nice. Then we're going to kind of delete into this a little bit. And I'm going to add this other color right about here. Because we want to show the hard part about doing this particular gesture, and you can try to look in the mirror at yourself doing it if you know how to do it, is there's this thing that happens and you see kind of like the under curve of the lip. And that's usually going to be a darker color rather than a lighter color, actually. And so I should probably reverse this, but yeah, actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and make all this a lighter color first, like this. Bam. Again, you might see less of that. It's almost like a straight angle like that, you know? So it almost just comes straight like that, like a diagonal. I'm actually not even worried about the, there we go. Okay, cool. You might see a little bit of that point, just not that much of it, but maybe a little bit of it. I think that's pretty good for the overall shape. Like I said, this kind of rounds out more. It kind of really rounds out when you do this. Like that, I think. All right, then we want to take this darker color. I'm going to take that color. I'm going to come over here, go a little bit darker. There we go, maybe a little bit darker. There we go, perfect. And it comes like, you can see part of this coming like that. Then it's going to come up and then curve around like this. There we go, cool. And see that, with just doing that right there, it's like we're almost done. Like once you get the form, this is why I really want to focus on your forms first and foremost before you do anything else. And then after you have the forms figured out, then you can do other things, add all the other details. So let's go ahead and just kind of figure out the form here. Boom. And then maybe this whole bottom part here would be in shadow. Like this. And working with ink brush is totally fine for this. And so I'm thinking that's actually pretty cool. Then we're going to go back to the teeth, and now we can go, okay, those are a little bit bright, so let's go to tonal correction, and we'll go to brightness and contrast. And maybe just turn that down. Oh, it was on that layer a little bit. Something like that. And then we'll go ahead and just delete all that. Make sure we're on this layer for our lips. Like so. Now, if I would have done that right to begin with, I'm going to have to worry about doing this all over again. That's looking pretty sweet. And now we can take the teeth layer. We can start even adding in some darker colors like that. And then I'm thinking just kind of blend that out a little bit. There we go. Grab that color now. And then also we can take our brush here and just kind of take that dark color and just kind of boom like this. Because a lot of this is going to be dark as it comes out to the edge, and up there it might be a little darker as well. And it looks pretty cool. So it's just a matter of, how much teeth do you want to show really, and how do you want to, how realistic you want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lip layer again, take this dark color, because we're doing a kind of, mix between, see how we have outlines. So it's kind of a painterly look, but it's also like a line work, almost like a comic book, we're just coloring it more like a comic book cover type style maybe. Cool. Now let's take this color here, go a little bit brighter. Just add a little bit of and if that was kind of matte lipstick, then we could leave it like that, and that looks actually pretty cool. And like I said, you can try different types of teeth style and stuff to get lift up less and have our bottom lip come up higher. I think if we put our bottom lip up higher, we might have an even cuter look. I kind of like this though, but I don't know. Maybe if we come up a little bit higher, we could before I add the highlights, I'm just thinking this through here. Well, let's just see what it looks like. So we can, if we brought this higher, where it's sitting right there, we can almost can't see the. That looks pretty cute too. I kind of like the bottom teeth showing a little bit. Then it's just a matter of how much of this detail do you want to see. And it looks like she's kind of biting her teeth together. I think that looks kind of cute. So let's roll with it. All right, now we're going to go ahead and start adding some real lighting here now. We can also adjust this, make it even, brighter that way, or desaturate it. This helps us get brighter colors. You can also just go back to the triangle. All right, so let's just kind of add a little bit of, and I like to just straight up do the whole entire highlight like this. Kind of blend out the edge, hit it more hard like that, and then blend it out. So that way it's brightest in the middle and it kind of fades out as it goes. Maybe there's a little bit of light on this side as well, if there's a dual lighting system, which it seems there is a little bit. Kind of a top-down light, it's kind of hitting from both sides. And you can kind of pull this up and down. Or you can design some teeth and just keep these in a separate file. That way you can always just bust it out and be like, bam, I got teeth to work with, right? So I think that's a good idea. Right, so I keep it as a high-res file. Now all we have to do is take our teeth and we're just gonna pop them right into place here. Let's go ahead and turn the opacity down first so we can make sure we're matching it up right. Like that. And we're just going to carefully come in here. Boom. Or you can just leave the original teeth that you did. It's all up to you. So once you go here and erase all this, turn that back up. Right now we have some cool teeth. It's actually pretty similar to the teeth I just did. If I just took more time to just flesh those out, that's pretty similar. So anyway, so I'm thinking she looks pretty dope. And if you don't want that bright of teeth, you can always go in and darken them up. So you go over here, tonal correction, turn the brightness down a little bit like that. Maybe turn the contrast up a little bit like this. You can also go here, tonal correction, and just turn the hue and saturation down a little bit. I just turn down the saturation just a tad. Something about like that. And then, look at that, we got some nice teeth. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and finish out the lips now. Adding the nice little highlights. So what I like to do, like I said, is I like to make the highlight first. Let's go back to our triangle here, a little bit brighter, desaturated. And so I'm thinking about just, I'm on the wrong layer here. If you put the lips on their own layer, then the teeth on their own layer, you can actually, you won't have to erase. You can just, anyway. So I'm just thinking about, how much of this is getting some highlight like that. And then what I do is I take this middle color here. And that's when I come in, I just add some of the natural lines that you find in lips. You don't have to do this, but I find this right here is a really good way of breaking up the highlights. So we don't have to, because you see highlights looking all weird. That's what makes them look that way, right? And then you can just kind of maybe elongate a few of them like this. Just add a few extra little details there. Bam, they got those nice lips. Look at that, just adding the highlights, that's what does it. So once you have this like middle tone, then it's just a matter of adding the highlights and then you're all done. So let's go ahead and add this highlight up here. This one's gonna be like that, nice and sharp. Actually, you know what? I want it more painterly. So let's go ahead and go like that. And if you want, you can break this one up too. You don't have to. But you can break that up with some, some texture. I'm gonna add a little bit of lip texture right here. And I like doing this with the highlight, just like that. Just very lightly, it just adds a little bit of texture in there. And then I'm debating whether I want to add this darker texture that happens inside of here. And the lines kind of go like that. Then I'm going to take my blend, kind of blend it out like that. Boom. It's a little bit of texture. Cool. Now, if you wanted to break up this texture over here, you could do that as well. Just take that same color. And then the lines, the kind of cracks kind of look like that. Sometimes they're kind of wide out at the end there. And there we have it. So that's how we can get rid of that nice little snarled look, which is pretty cool. Right, now what if we want to give her the kind of look, I wonder if I should do this as separate tutorials or not. I know people like today, they're just, originally my channel started when people had like years and years ago, like I think I started in 2009, people had a higher attention span for like live videos and like actually learning. But anyway, now they want it all cut up and everything. And I'm not going to do all that, at least not for something like this. What I am thinking about is if I should just end it here and call that like, all right, how to, paint a woman with snarled lips, and have a separate tutorial showing how to do it with the tongue, sideways tongue, sexy sideways tongue, and then like maybe biting the lip. It doesn't matter. No one really watches the channel anymore anyway. Let's just go ahead and do it. I'm going to do another thing here too. I'm going to take the, let's see here. The only thing I'm going to keep on its own separate layer is that. I kind of like the original teeth I had there. I could go and fix those up a little bit, like basically just add this lighting to them. It's really easy actually. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and flatten merge visibles. There we go. That way I can go back over the teeth again when I want to. So let's go ahead and take these earrings really fast before we do the next one, which is going to be the tongue sideways one. So I'm just going to grab the earring, copy and paste it. Move it up here, right about like that. And then we're going to erase everything to be about like that. And then we're going to take this painter earlobe, get rid of these all together. Then back to here, start. Underneath here, just add a little bit of shadow like this, just to make it look like it's kind of puncturing in the skin a little bit. And then all we have to do is on that layer as well, just get rid of the earring there, and we add a few more strands of hair. And now it matches. And I don't know why it messes this up, it just always does. It always messes up your earrings. So let's go ahead and go like this. Copy and paste. Bring this up here right about there. Go ahead and get rid of most of this. Cool. Move it back into place right about there. Okay, that's pretty cool. In fact, I'm going to save this real quick. Right now, for this tongue sideways one is a really hard one to make look right and sexy, especially if you draw it. But I think we can pull it off. So let's just try it and see. This is that kind of cute tongue sideways thing. So because we have the teeth there, one thing I want to do with the teeth actually is we're going to take these teeth and separate them. So we just want to go like this and just really quickly like this. Boom, boom, boom. Because we're going to show the tongue. Just go like that. And we're just going to separate these down. Right, that's the wrong layer. just want to pull those away from each other for now. And we'll look at those in a little bit. For now, what we want to do though is we want to start to paint the lips on. I'm almost wondering if I should paint the lips on a separate layer this time. That way we can have them on top of the lips. So yeah, on top of the teeth rather. So I'm thinking what we need to do is let's take this color right here. Let's go ahead and think about how much of the lip would be here. If it's more closed, it'd be more like this. Right, so I want to take this base color then. And just gotta go something like this. And then here, up, across. Let's go ahead and get rid of a lot of that. So the basic shape is it comes up, comes across like this, comes down over here. That's the basic lip shape. And actually, you know what? Actually, yeah, because we're on our own layer. We can just kind of come across like that. I'm debating like how much I want to show and come across here. Get the main shape like that. All right, that's cool. Then let's go ahead and dip into this a little bit. Something like that. So I want this to be a little bit more rounded like that. Yeah, I want to round that, come up and around. There we go. I don't want to. Something about that's about how much of the lip we're going to show, I think. It's going to round this off like that. I don't want any of those showing right now. Spend the time to get the shapes right, because once you have the shapes right, everything else falls into place. And I'm thinking about this bottom lip could be up a little bit higher. The bottom lip, really, we don't have to change much. It's pretty much where we need it. But we need to open the jaw a little bit. That's the thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that layer. I'm just going to pull this down a little bit because we're like basically acting like we're opening the jaw a little bit. Opening the mouth, so lowering the jaw. And then let's go ahead and add. For now, I'm just going to add. Actually, you know what? Let me think about this for a second. Yeah, you know what? Let's just delete it, right? And I can just put the teeth underneath there. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Go like this, just put this underneath here like that. And then yeah, that's good. Now we'll make one more layer. That's gonna be underneath that one. That's gonna be where I'm gonna have, yeah, perfect. I like this. This is gonna work. And that's basically gonna be where I put the okay, no, don't mean to be erasing, you want to be painting. That will be where, what am I thinking? Man, I lost my train of thought. The tongue, that's where I'm going to put the tongue. Right, so let's go back down to the teeth. Since the mouth is open now, you're not going to have the darkness in between the teeth. So we can get rid of that. Right, instead, we're going to see the tongue. So let's go ahead and we want to make the tongue to be a different color. So a different kind of pink, more of a pale pink. So we can start with something like that. See how that looks. All right, so it's going to come down from right about here. This is how much of it we're going to see. And it's going to come over here to the side. And we're going to be able to see all of it because it's quite thick. It takes up a lot of space in the mouth. And it's going to come out of it's going to come out just a little bit, but for now we're just going to leave it like that. And then this, all this right here is going to be really dark. In fact, we're just going to go black. Yeah, that's going to be all dark like that. And then it's going to be a little bit darker like this. And because there's no layer underneath it, it's kind of blending transparent. So I need to put a layer underneath this and just add some color. It doesn't really matter. Just gives me something to work with there. I typically don't work with this many layers usually, but for this I'm going to make an exception. I'm going to kind of come like, all this would be darker like that, and then I'm going to have it like this. So we're getting there. And then we'll go back to the lip layer. I'm going to add, final details and separations of the lip, once I get to that stage. For now, I'm just kind of focused on the main shapes here. And we might actually see a little bit of, what way is the light coming from here? Kind of up above and straight down almost. So a little bit more from the right-hand side. You can tell because of this neck thing. It's kind of above. Actually, it's above and to the left a little bit. Okay. Makes sense. So this is a dip, right? Remember, this is a dip in the face. And why is it doing that? That's kind of weird. Okay, still lip. I'm having to paint really hard right there to get rid of that. Whatever. So you have this dip. Think about this dip right here. And so what's going to happen then is as the light hits it, if the light's coming above and to the left a little bit, then it's going to hit this side. Right? It's going to be opposite as if we were actually highlighting it. And then we kind of not really sure why that's happening. Is it because I have another layer directly and I have nothing under that layer? It's kind of weird that it does that. It's picking up transparency. So I think it's because there's nothing underneath it. The only thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take the teeth and just darken them a little bit. Let's just go here, tonal correction. I'm actually going to do hue and saturation luminosity. I'm going to turn the luminosity down like that, and then I'm going to turn hue up. Maybe we can change them a different color a little bit. Just a little bit darker, about like that. Okay. Everything's looking pretty good. The only thing I'm thinking is if I want to change this lip. I'm just debating because I want to flatten the layer so that everything works the way I want it to more. And this is the only thing I'm thinking of right here is whether or not I'm going to be wanting to change the lip shape at all. And also, how thick do I want her lip to be? That's the other thing. Technically, I could add, see there, I think there's nothing underneath there. That's why it's doing that. Yeah, I think about like that'll be fine. Then I'll add some of that in there, and I'll come back and fix that. Actually, I'm not going to do that right now. I'll add it later. Cool. Right, so now we just need to spice the tongue up a little bit by adding some stuff to it. But I'm gonna go ahead and I want to merge all of this. I'll just bring the teeth back in if I need them again. Let's just flatten the image. There we go, all to one layer. Because what I want to do is I want to bring this tongue out now. What we're going to do is we're going to just kind of pull it out just a little bit like that, so it's kind of hitting the edge of the lip a little bit right there. And I want it to kind of come over that tooth as well, like this. And we're going to kind of do a little bit like that. Cool, cool. Let's go ahead and start to take this darker color and start to bring out the shading we're going to have. This underside of the top lip is usually always darker because the light's usually always coming kind of from above, like so. Then we can add a little bit of this lighter color here. We're going to just kind of put it right about there. And something like that. I really think we have light coming from both sides, kind of, but I'm going to kind of put it more from the left side, I think. So probably should have done with the other one too, but there we go. All right, now what we need to do is start to kind of, again, pull this apart with our line work. Looking pretty nice. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of this texture like this. This is what's going to sell that it's a tongue. You need this kind of texture all along the edge right here. And we're going to add a little bit brighter right here. But think about, these are the highlights, right? As they come across, we're going to add this color all the way along. We can actually just make a line like that and break it up. Okay, looking pretty good. We're going to add a brighter color here. I'm just thinking about how far the bright should come down, about like that. And then we'll just keep going brighter and brighter. Now let's go super bright. This is where you get the final. Actually, it might not be all the way over there. But some of this is going to be like, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. That's a Street Fighter reference. Something that's super cute, right? So now we got her with her tongue out to the side. Pretty cute. Cool. That probably didn't take that long because, as long because a lot of the lips are kind of already painted for us, right? And then so once you kind of have, your lips kind of painted down, you can decide, what you want to add to it, stuff like that. Let's go ahead and add that center thing really quick here, though. This little dent. And it's going to be more on this side, like I said, because the light seems to be more dominant on. I'm going to take this color and kind of blend it in like that. We're just kind of blend this together a little bit. And if anything, we should have a little bit of a highlight on this side, just a tad bit like that. Like, so it's an indent, and I think that's a little bit too strong. So usually to knock something back, I like to use the airbrush on normal. Just take the color like that and then knock it back. Perfect. So now I do want to add, just debating how much of this kind of fade it out so it's not such a hard line. And add a little bit of this brighter color right here. Yep, that's super cute. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do one of the hardest ones to do. Just to show you, I've done it on another drawing. It looks really cool. This is the hardest one. Right, so I can't show you this whole image because it's not safe for work. It shows her titties. You can see it on my DeviantArt. The link's in the description. It's one of the more recent ones I did. So yeah, it's just really hard to capture this look and make it look cute, you know? And I think I did a pretty good job there. I didn't add any gloss to her upper lip, kind of kept it matte. Probably should add gloss now I think about it. Right, so how we're going to do this then is we're going to take the teeth we already have here, and let's just zoom in like this and come right across and just capture the teeth like this. Bam. Because it's the lower lip that we really need to change. The upper lip, we're not really going to change anything. Now you can hold down the shift key and then add some of this back in like that. So you can add and subtract if you didn't make a perfect selection. Then hit Control CV. Now we got that layer. Bam. Okay, now all we have to do is start altering this layer underneath. I'm actually kind of surprised how cute that came out just now. That what we just did came out really cute. It's really hard. Like if you just try it, right? Like if yours doesn't come out this cute, don't beat yourself up. It's really hard to pull this one off with the tongue to the side like that, make it look cute. So we might be able to see a little bit of these bottom teeth. That's what I'm thinking. I'll probably just paint those in, or maybe I'll take my teeth back again. I kind of deleted them all, but maybe I'll grab my teeth and bring them back in again. So this bottom is going to be a lot different. Let's just go back to this base. Let's just kind of start painting all this in black like this for now. I don't think I want the lower lip that far down either. Okay, so let's go ahead and maybe bring the lower up just a little bit, maybe. Let me think about this. This might actually work. All right, so what we're going to do is we want to put it right underneath her teeth, though. That's the thing. So you want it to be right underneath her teeth here like this, and then it's be pulling out this way. Like that, and then all the way here, maybe like this. All that, and we're going to pull it down like this. Okay, you can actually take this warp tool and just start pulling this lip up here like that. Actually, I'm just going to pull the whole lip up, but I really want to pull this side up more than that. All right, well, it doesn't work as good as Photoshop, but that's okay. Man, go back to like there, whatever, that's good enough. I thought I had like a way to like accept it afterwards. This is nope, it's real time live. That's kind of cool. So let's see. We want to really pull into this. So we want to really kind of add in some of this shadow tone and kind of blend it out like that. Oh, see that? Like that's like let me see. Hold on. What if I pull that down a little bit? I don't know. Probably can't pull it down too much because then she'll have too high of a thing. That's about where it wants to be. I think I'm going to come back up like this. Just get rid of some of that. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to have to do is just grab this whole lower lip right here, actually. Like that. And we're just going to pull this up and we'll fill that back in. We're going to pull it all the way up to that top tooth right there, I think. Somewhere right about there. We'll just fill this back in. Because we had lowered it down before anyway. That last, add more. We're just add more shade here, and really, I don't know why I kept it small like that. You want to always start with your brushes as big as you can get them. because big is pretty much as big as you can get away with, and then you reduce it as you go. Okay, so that's a nice, and then we're gonna add a little bit more like that. Nope. I think her lip is too high now. Yeah, her whole mouth is too high. That's fine. What I'm going to do now is just flatten the whole layer because that looks good. Flat image. That's why it's good to always zoom out, kind of look at your whole thing, make sure everything's working good. I'm going to add a little bit more of that. There we go. I ain't worrying about that under plane right now. Just kind of ruined my lip. Didn't mean to do that, but it's fine. You know what I do? I don't know why it's doing that. I think I'm just gonna see if this fixes it. Add a skin layer underneath it, skin tone layer, and see if that helps it when we're painting. If it doesn't, when we have transparency, like when we delete something completely like that. I'm gonna pull the nose coming down here, come off this, there we go. Okay. Kind of want to add, I want that to be kind of sharp. Just see what that looks like. Cool. Now what we got to do now is get rid of, oh, that's right. Duh. See, now I'm going to have to kind of go. Thinking I'm going to add a little more shadow all the way to the edge right here. And then I'm going to add 2 teeth right here. We're going to be able to see this tooth just a little bit like that. And then this tooth right here, I think, just a little bit. And they're going to be a lot darker. That is, you're not going to be able to see them as good. Then we're just going to take this color here, and we're just going to add a little bit of highlights like this. So I'm just picking like spots. I'm doing more there and then less there, like that, just kind of. Taking this darker red color, there we go. Just adding a few lines here and there, get rid of some of this. That shouldn't be as cool. And then we just got to go like this. We got to take this whole thing here. We want it to be more like this. Boom. Because you see what happens is you also got to pull that shadow up as well. Right? Because as you pull your lip up, it's pulling that side of your lip up, right? That's what gives you that look right there. Right? And because we're stretching that part of the lip out, we're not going to see the design as much, you know, like all the little lines on this part. Right here, this part here is not going to have like all this detail right here, like that, where you can see the lines from breaking up the highlight. And the reason why is because it's being stretched. But we can see these parts that have the highlights going to come across here the most. So I'm going to kind of go like that. Then I'm going to kind of break it up with then lastly, I want to kind of go like that. And there you have it. I kind of want to round out this side a little bit more though, I think. Because usually when that happens, this side becomes more plump and round. Let's go ahead and just try to really round. I want to get this shape right here really nice. Yeah, I think that works. And then I'm going to kind of go. I should have done it with this brush now I think about it. I'm going to add just a little bit more highlight here to kind of plump it out. I'm going to pull this even more. I want to really push that up, really exaggerate that right there. Yeah, it looks like she's really taking a tug on her lip now. And then the last thing what we have to do is we have to kind of shape the whole entire lip. I wasn't even paying attention. Like I was like, wait a minute. As I was looking at it, I'm like, that's not even right. We got to take this highlight and come down with it like this. And it's going to kind of curve, you know, like that. And just lightly blend that out like this. Take a brighter color. Start here, it's the brightest, comes over there. Then maybe a couple spots here like that. Now we're going to take this color and show how it's kind of pulling out like this, the lines. So because it's stretching and turning the lips, so I'm pulling the lines out like that. Okay. You know, the lip on it, it's honestly, it's not this perfect, but whatever. By perfect, I mean like the lines aren't usually that perfect, but I want to add a little bit more. Kind of, there we go. I want to kind of bring into that one, kind of show, yeah, really, I want to really show how much it's kind of twisting and turning into there. Maybe this is not good. And there you go. There's 3 different sexy lips you can do. Face expressions with the lips at least. And that's just with the lips, right? There's other ways you can change the expression. You can change the eyebrows and things like that, right? In fact, on that one where she's like raising her lip up, the Elvis, you know, lip curl, we probably could have lowered one of her eyebrows and kind of made it more angry and straight. In fact, I might do that real quick. So let's go ahead and save this out. And also what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come back with this. Because I was just thinking that it does seem the light is on this side more so than the right. So it's on kind of both sides. There's like more than one light, but I'm going to add all this right here and then kind of, instead of breaking up with lines, I'm just kind of imagining, you know, how it kind of works. That's way too much. That might be enough though. I guess I lied. I'm going to break up some of it now. Cool. So now, trying to think. This is the side we can see the most. So let me just try to see if you can. Just want to see how this works. I don't think I like this tool very much. It's kind of hard to control. Like, if I want to bring that up and then bring that part down. All right, whatever. So what I'm thinking about doing is, let's just get rid of our eyebrow first, and we'll decide. That's what she looks like. She has an eyebrow. Marilyn Manson. Here we come. Right. So let's take that color right there, make a new layer. And so we could make it to where her eyebrow is lower, where it's lower like this, and then comes just to something like that. Or she's kind of lowering it. Or we could make it to where it's more angled and lower, but then comes up high like this, like, you know, like when you're angry. Something like that. Or we can make it to where it's lower here, like that, but then maybe that's kind of cool. And we could also make it to where it kind of rounds up. So it kind of goes would actually be like that. That wouldn't be lifted up that high. Kind of like that, like she's lifting her eyebrow up a little bit. That's kind of cool. Okay. And then next time I do, I'm going to take this airbrush. Watch this. Oh, we're going to. And I probably won't. Oh, it's on the wrong layer. Dang it. Soft. All right, that's fine. Trying to think if I remember how her original eyebrow looked now. Let me see. I saved out some of the files. So let me just look at one of them real quick because I can't remember exactly. I don't want to make it look all weird. Right, so it's kind of thick and then to the thin. Okay. So it's kind of like it's kind of thick here. that kind of comes like this. All that's kind of thick, and then it thins out like this. And this would be where it kind of wraps around to the side here. Cool. I'm digging that. I'm using the paintbrush here just to add more of a painterly look, so it's not all like hard, weird hard edges there. I'm going to kind of make part of this darker, kind of fade it out. Perfect. Now make this brush really small. Grab the skin tones and kind of just pull up through like that. We're not going to do it that way. Hold on a second. We'll leave that one. That one's cool. I'm going to use the ink brush though. Maybe I'll come back in with the other brush if I need to. Actually, we'll use this color too. We're going to kind of come at an angle. Actually, let's come at an angle. That's how the other one is anyway. Like that. And let's add just a couple. No, I don't think that looks right. I don't think that looks right. So I'm just kind of curve up like that. So now I'm just kind of, blending it out just a little bit so it's not so hard. So I'm just changing the shape of this just a little bit like that. So that way it kind of matches what the eyebrows doing a little bit. Okay, now what I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to try to blend it out like that. I'm going to go smaller again. So we'll start with this color first in between them. Then I'm going to take this color, try to further shape and cut into it. This is called, like, I don't know, I call this cutting. Like I'm cutting into the shapes. They actually add some personality to it too. Cool. So there you go. And yeah, so you can just mess around, and you can also change the shape of the eye as well. You can like close it more or open it more. This one should probably be open more. I don't know if I want to do all that right now. So it's not, I don't know, I guess it's not too difficult. We can just open this up like this, and then open it up on this side, and just come across with the makeup like this. Then we're just going to come across like this. Boom. And just that little bit of change, look at that. We can actually open the eye up a little bit. Also, I'm going to take a little bit of this pink right here. Might as well. I don't know why I didn't do this before, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. So there's usually this little tear duct right there. See, I opened her eye up just a little bit. That might be enough to sell the idea. Then we take this brush here, go to pink, go really bright. Well, maybe not that bright actually. Right here, there's usually just a couple, because it's always wet. That's the tear duct, so it's always wet. So we add the gloss. And I still feel like I probably went overboard right here, I think. So let me just cut this back. Cool. All right, so there you have it. We went ahead and did some cool different faces. That was pretty neato. Yep, there we go. That'll be what I use for DeviantArt. Learn to paint these different lip expressions. So I'm digging it. It's pretty cool. Oh, you know what I was going to do? And I forgot all about that. I was going to give her lip rings. Or at least a lip ring. I was thinking I'd give her snake bites. I might definitely look cool on this one. This one might be harder. I think it'll still look fine. I don't feel like doing all that right now. Cool. All right. And if you guys want to learn how to draw vaginas and stuff, I can't teach that anywhere else except for on DeviantArt. So go to my DeviantArt. The link's in the description of this video, and subscribe for only $2 a month. And you can also, recommend other tutorials you'd like to see. All right. Cool. That is, explicit tutorials.